I tell you what, I had
I'd like to call to order the Dauphin County Board of Commissioners workshop meeting for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. We'll begin with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We have minutes before us for review. Are there any questions of the minutes that we'll be taking action on next week? Hearing none, we'll move on to executive sessions held between meetings. Mr. Haggerty.
On Friday, July 18th, an executive session was held to obtain the advice of legal counsel regarding contract negotiations and the purchase or lease of real property. And on Tuesday, July 22nd, an executive session was held to obtain the advice of legal counsel regarding public safety, personnel matters, the purchase or lease of real property, and contract negotiations.
Any questions of Mr. Haggerty? Hearing none, we're going to move on to public participation. This is on agenda items only. Just a reminder, it is 3 minutes, and we are being live streamed. Anyone for public participation on agenda items only? Seeing none, we'll move forward to directors and guests. We are honored today to have a proclamation for a veteran, George Ivanoff, and I'm going to ask that Tom Carrera, our director of veterans, comes on up and joins the chair with him.
I have a problem here.
Nope, I'll tell him to speak up.
Yeah, we'll speak up. We'll make sure you can hear us.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Tom, I didn't know if you wanted to start by saying anything, and then the commissioners might share, or if there's, okay. Well, I will say this, Mr. Ivanoff, I looked into your background, and obviously you're an accomplished golfer and also a veteran, World War II veteran. When I read this, it said, I received my first Purple Heart and you received 2 Purple Hearts. Hearing the story, and I'm just going to read it because this is your words in a story I found. I dived into a shell hole and peered over its edge. At that moment, I was shot in the face. The bullet entered my right cheek and exited my left, taking out teeth and leaving me deaf in one ear. I felt this big hole in my left cheek and I thought I was going to die. I lied down and asked God to forgive me of my sins and then passed out. I awoke sometime later and it was all quiet. I was able to get help and flown to Guam and eventually sent to the Navy hospital in San Diego. My mouth was wired shut for some time and plastic surgery was performed. I spent 10 months recovering before discharge. To see the commitment that you have to serve your country, certainly the sacrifices that you made, we're humbled to be in your presence and celebrate 100 years. Is that correct? You're 100 years old. Let's give it up. I heard you're a heck of a golfer as well. At one time you carried a 2 handicap. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for being here with us today. It's an honor for us to have you amongst us today. And I'm going to give Commissioner Hartwick a chance to share some words. And then I know Commissioner Priest has a proclamation as well for you. So Commissioner Hartwick.
I'll let Commissioner Priest go.
No, I think it's
Mr. Ivanoff, it's great to see you, sir. Can you hear me? Obviously, with your family, with the roots that you have in this community and the level of service that you provided, this has been a long overdue acknowledgement of both your service to this country, the commitment that you made to this community, and how many people you took their money on the golf course from. I know that your reputation precedes yourself, and that's why I always made sure I did not have my MAC card when I saw you out there on the golf course. It's those guys who sneak up on you that are the ones you got to watch out for and never bet. So, but on a sincere note, 100 years old, I don't know if they make people and humans with the kind of fiber you represent anymore, sir. You are a generation that has really set forth a foundation for this country that we could not pay enough honor to. Both your level of service, your commitment, and being willing to lay down your life and your personal everything that you have in order to ensure our freedom and to be able to live by an example that you continued with your family for the remainder of your life. You didn't talk about it, you walked the walk. And for that, we give you great gratitude on your birthday, for your birthday and achieving this milestone, but also for the level of service and commitment that you've given to your family and this grateful country and this grateful county of Dauphin. So congratulations and thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Over here. How are you? We are blessed to have you here today. I'll tell you what, I'm going to follow what Commissioner Hartwick said. Many people talk the talk. You have officially walked the walk in your 100 years here on this planet. You epitomize bravery, heroism, and patriotism above and beyond everything else that you've accomplished in your life. Things that you've seen and heard as a young man, nobody should have to see and hear those things as you're on the battlefield representing this great nation of ours. And we are truly blessed to have you here today. I want to thank you for your service. As I mentioned to you before we started, in 2016, 73 years after you graduated from Parris Island, my son Carter also had the privilege of graduating from Parris Island, and I'll never forget when we were there for graduation weekend. He came jogging by with his unit, and we yelled his name, Carter. He told us that day that was the first time in 3 months he heard his first name. He was called everything but his first name for 3 months. He came out of there a better man for it. And I cannot thank you enough for your service. We as a Board of Commissioners, the 293,000 residents, thank you. I see you have the Veterans Affairs Coordinator sitting next to you, Director Tom Careau. Tom, thank you for your service as well. We have one of the largest veterans populations in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here in Dauphin County, and I believe that you are the oldest remaining veteran here in Dauphin County. We wish you many more years of health. You look great. In fact, we were joking. Controller Mary Bateman said you have a better hairline than I do, and I think that's correct.
That's not hard, though, for either.
Your golf game's much better than mine. Commissioner Hartwick, Director Robinson could verify that
Right now.
the safest place to be when I hit a golf ball is directly in front of me. So you've got a great golf game as well. Sir, at this point, it is an honor to present this proclamation into the record, and I would like to read that now, if I may. We, the Dauphin County Board of Commissioners, join in celebrating George J. Ivanoff's 100th birthday. Whereas George was born on July 24th, 1925 in Harrisburg. He spent most of his childhood in Harrisburg before leaving high school early to join the United States Marine Corps in 1943. Whereas George was stationed on the island of Peleliu. You told me that beforehand too. Peleliu. Whereas George was stationed on the island of Peleliu, where he was wounded while carrying a fellow corpsman. For his bravery and actions, he received his first Purple Heart. Whereas after his recovery, he was sent back to join his unit, being promoted from private first class to corporal upon his return. He was assigned to Okinawa, Japan, where he fought for 45 days before being shot in the jaw and sent to the Navy Hospital in San Diego, where he remained for 10 months recovering. For his service, he received his second Purple Heart. Whereas George went on to receive a degree in accounting and worked for the United States Postal Service for 40 years before retiring. He continues to enjoy life, playing golf any chance he gets at the Colonial Country Club and enjoying time spent with his family. Therefore, we join the 293,000 residents of Dauphin County in honoring this incredible man and wishing him a very happy birthday. And we do hereby proudly proclaim July 24th as George J. Ivanoff Day in Dauphin County.
service.
Mr. Ivanov, before we get a photo with you, can you tell us a little bit about your life as a Marine and living here in Dauphin County and what this means to you today? Have a seat.
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys knew everything. You said everything what I do. You know more about it than I do. Yeah, I lived in Harrisburg almost all my life. I was in 1936. I was in the flood here in Harrisburg. They put me in a canoe, and I slept in John Harris High School gym during the water when it went down. That was 1936. In 1972,
Agnes?
my mom still lived in Harrisburg on Cameron Street. It got flooded again, but I lived in Colonial Park. So I had to go down and get my mom. And when I took her, going across Cameron Street, I had to carry my mom. The water's war. I had to carry my mom across Cameron Street. So she lived with me till the water went down. At 1972. Then I went. Then after that, and I was in high school. I quit school when I was in the 11th grade. Some guy told me that I couldn't pass the physical, so I got mad. Went down to the Marine Corps, and I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And I was 17 years old, and I quit school. So they sent me down to Paris Island. From there, I went to Camp Lejeune. From there, I went to San Diego. From there, I went to Peluvu. That's where the 1st Marine Division was stationed in Peluvu. So we were trained there. Then we went to Peleliu. That was a disaster. Peleliu was awful. I can't repeat what happened over there. And from there, I got wounded over there. I was carrying down a corpsman. We got ambushed, and I was carrying him to sick bay. And I don't know what happened. A bomb hit. All I remember, I was flying through the air. And when I picked him up, he shook in my hand and died in my hand. He was a corpsman. And before he died, he's a nice guy. And we talked aboard on the ship going towards Peleliu. He's going to be a doctor. He apologized to me why he got wounded and he couldn't help us out. After he told me he apologized for why he got wounded and he died. Every time I think about that, he's a nice fellow, he's going to be a doctor. Every time I think about that guy, that corpsman, a tear comes down my eyes. So we used to talk about it before the Peleliu. We used to talk. I met him aboard ship, and he was attached to our company as a corpsman. And we got ambushed, and he died. I picked him up. He died in my arms. And after that, Peleliu. Then we went to. We trained. We went to Okinawa. And the amazing part about Okinawa is I was in the first wave in Okinawa. When they put that thing down on that boat we were going in to make the landing, we had no resistance, no resistance at all. which is unusual. We all got on land with no casualties, and we crossed the whole island to the other side. The other side was I think it was Sea of China Sea. So I jumped in the ocean the other side. I took a swim on the other side. Then I heard that the army had little problems up north, so we got together. That we was heading towards help the army. So we got there, and how did I get wounded? And Okinawa. Oh yeah, that's what when Corman got shot in the ambush, and I took my jacket off and took my rifle and made a stretcher. Then I carried him down toward the sick bay. That's when a bomb hit, and he flew up in the air. That's when I picked him up, and that's when he died in my arms. And then I got shrapnel all over my body too. So, and then that's when then I went back, and that's when I got shot. Well, that's before that, and then after that, we 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 had the next day we hit the the ridges on Okinawa. We all lined up. We're going to take the ridge. I jumped in a foxhole, not a foxhole, a shell hole. When I looked up, I got shot right under the eye here. And what happened was, I don't know how long I was laying there. I reached my head. I knew I was shot, but I didn't know where I was wounded. I was walking around. I was a little dizzy. And when I walked around, I felt my hand. I felt a big hole there. So I figured, well, I'm gonna die. So I lay down, and I'm a Catholic, and I asked the Lord to forgive all my sins, and I lay down and died. I know what happened, but I don't know how long I was laying there. I opened my eyes and I said, "Oh, I'm not dead yet. I don't believe." So I got up and I said, "I'm still living." So I saw a guy hide behind a big boulder. So I jumped up behind the boulder, and all of a sudden I saw my eyes and I lay down. And next thing I knew, I was in a tent, and they were putting a poncho over my head. He said that this guy's dead. Then the priest gave me the last rites, and all of a sudden, all I heard was, "I think this guy's here laying. I think he's still breathing." I must have been me. So that guy come over to me. I said, "This guy's breathing." They took me and put me on a plane, and they flew me to Guam. All I remember going into the plane, but I don't remember when I landed. They put me in the hospital over there, and they wired my jaw shut. I was wired shut for almost 9 months. My mouth is wired shut. And all the guy used to kid me because I couldn't talk. And the guy used to say, "Boom, boom, boom, boom," to me all because I couldn't talk. He making fun of me. And then when I was in San Diego Hospital, I was there for 10 months. So finally, after that, I got out there, they gave me a discharge, and they want to give me what do you call it, I forgot what kind of discharge.
Medical distress.
Wounded, when I was wounded, I was discharged, I get 100% disability. I said, I don't want I want a regular discharge. I don't want no medical discharge. I want a regular. That's the biggest mistake I made in my life.
Tom, you'd had something to work with there.
I could have got a regular. I could got a discharge as a wounded. I got discharged as a regular discharge, and I went. They sent me to Great Lakes for. I got discharged at Great Lakes. The guy gave me 10% disability. I could have got 100%, so I got 100%. That's a big mistake I made. So
Well, it sounds like
they
something went
told me
right.
now
You were
I
here
got
100 years.
discharged. That my jaw's going to get. I'm going to get locked. It's going to lock on me once when I eat. So I was eating the corn and a cob at home. My jaw locked up on me. So I called the VA hospital. I said I want an emergency. He said, if you're not, what do I say that there?
Service connected.
If I wasn't a regular, if I was a discharge for a medical discharge, if you're not a medical discharge, you have to pay $300. I said, what? So I called somebody else, and they finally got a guy. So a friend of mine, they told me to go to Philadelphia because they didn't have any surgeons in Lebanon. They sent me to Philadelphia VA. So a friend of mine drove me over to Philadelphia, and I saw 3 doctors. The surgeon said he didn't want to operate, and they said that they tried to help me. So finally they got my job regular, and they sent me home. And that was all life. And now they give me 10%, and I kept on complaining about my job. So now I'm getting 50%. Now I'm working on 100%. I said I was offered 100%, and that's what I want 100%. And now I'm getting a physical,
Tom, can you work
trying
on
to
that?
get, and I'm having that trouble getting 100%. They give me 50%.
Well, Mr. Ivanov, we want to thank you. We can't thank you enough. Can you tell us your family members that are here today with you?
Yeah, that's my family back there.
Let's get a picture.
You guys know my whole life now.
Yeah, we do. Tom, let's get him up here. We'll come over here and take a picture. Can we get one photo with us and him and then with the family? The family doesn't want a photo? Okay. She's speaking for you?
He always does.
This way a little bit. You might draw a little bit.
Let's hear it again for Mr. Ivanov. Latest generation.
I'm going to invite up now our human resources, Faye Fisher.
Faye, you get to follow that up.
I know. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The salary board packet and the personnel packet have both been distributed to the board. I would like to request a vote on item number 2 in the personnel packet.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion for item 2 on the personnel pack.
Second? I'll make a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Any questions of Faye Fisher before she? All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Director of Budget and Finance, Chris Davis.
Morning.
I have no changes to the purchase order packet that was sent out yesterday. Be ready for your vote next week.
Any questions of Mr. Davis?
Yes, is everything contained herein within the budgeted 2025 numbers?
There's no budgetary issues that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
I know we have a meeting today,
Mhm.
11:30. I look forward to having an in-depth discussion about sort of where we're at, what's been accomplished
Mhm.
in the last 7.5 months, and sort of where we chart a pathway forward. We need to ensure that every day moving forward, budget doesn't start midway through the year. We've got to start it in January 1, so we got a lot of work to do in a short order.
Oh, definitely.
Any other questions of Mr. Davis? Thank you.
Thanks.
Chief Clerk's report, Mr. Haggerty.
Good morning, Commissioners. There are no items on the agenda requiring board action today, but with your permission, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about some proposed adjustments to our agenda process for your consideration. This is extremely boring compared to Mr. Ivanov's, stories of heroism. So I apologize in advance for folks. Appreciate you bearing with me. I've been here for almost 6 months now, and it's become clear to me that I do not have an efficient process in place to review and prepare agenda items for your consideration. I'm going to walk through what some of the challenges of our current process are, and then propose some conceptual solutions for you to consider at a future point. As it currently stands, we receive all sorts of requests from departments every single day to add items to your agenda that they are requesting approval for. These requests come through Oracle, over email, or even, sometimes just verbally over the phone. And each of these requests, of course, has to be reviewed for legal form and function by the solicitor's office. And we oftentimes receive them with a sense of urgency to get them on the soonest agenda possible. So this creates a scenario when we're often adding, removing, or correcting items on the agenda up to the final minute prior to publicly posting it. And just because of how late in the process new information services sometimes. These changes often occur even after, of course, we have already briefed each of you on each week's items. So this oftentimes leads to situations where, as you have seen in the past, I am issuing public corrections prior to votes, or you have questions I'm unprepared to answer, and oftentimes neither you nor the public have as much time as I think you all deserve to more carefully review items. So this fly by the seat of our pants approach leads to situations where the workload is really inconsistent week by week, and today is a great example in which we have no agenda items at all. So I know this creates frustration oftentimes among our departments because we can't really reliably tell them how long it will take us to review their requests, because we truly don't know what our capacity will be any given week, since we're not necessarily planning well in advance for these items. So Vince, Jessica, and I have spent considerable time thinking through what an improved process might look like, and have also received feedback on some preliminary ideas from department heads and other senior staff here at the county, and have also compared processes in other counties. What we've come up with, which again is just a proposed idea and not something actually taking effect at this point, would be a new 28-day process that would require that would provide certainty to our departments, allow for more meaningful due diligence on our part before you are ever asked to vote on something, and ensure greater public transparency. So here's how it would work. When a department submits a request to us, I would consider that day one on this timeline. The solicitor's office, chief clerk's office, budget office, other senior staff, and the relevant oversight commissioner would then have 2 weeks to review internally. And then once that 2-week review is complete, assuming any outstanding questions have been answered by that initial review team, we would place the item on the agenda for first consideration. This first consideration is sort of akin to a workshop session where the board might engage in a robust discussion or ask questions you'd like follow-up answers to, and the board would then decide whether to advance the item to the following week's agenda for final consideration. During that week, we would be able to gather any additional info requested, and both you and the public would have additional time to weigh the merits of the item. This is sort of similar to how many legislative bodies, such as our own House of Representatives, require multiple votes before something is actually enacted. Although we would require just 2 votes, unlike the 3 required in the House. We would no longer have this sort of arbitrary distinction between workshop meetings and legislative meetings, and instead each meeting every week would have some items being considered for the first time and other items being considered for the second and final time. So a hypothetical example, let's imagine our Parks and Recreation Department is seeking your approval for a contract for an equipment rental they need at Wildwood. And they need the equipment by the end of September. With this process, they would know that in order to get their request considered in time, they would need to submit it by August 28th. We would then have a 2-week internal deadline to complete our review of the request, the cost, the legality, and so on. And then so on. We would have to complete that within 2 weeks in this hypothetical scenario by September 11th. It would then go on the agenda for your first consideration on September 18th, and then for a final consideration on September 25th. So this predictability, I think, will help us manage our own internal capacity while also ensuring that departments have the opportunity to more thoughtfully plan ahead for what types of contracts and agreements might be expiring, and what approvals they will need and when they'll need them by. Of course, there are many types of items that are more routine that we would propose allowing to be considered only once instead of twice, and to be allowed to be placed on the agenda every week instead of only on legislative agendas. For example, adoption assistance agreements, applications our departments submit for external funding, satisfaction pieces, the types of things that I've found tend to serve as a barrier to sort of more efficiently just acting on, that are not typically the type of thing that we would more thoroughly review. So I think we could streamline many of those items and sort of do away with some of the more arbitrary requirement that they wait for a quote-unquote legislative session. There are also, of course, times where an item is truly urgent and will need to be expedited instead of going through the normal 28-day process. These types of items often include those relating to an emergency, or which are required to be acted on quickly in order to comply with state or federal rules or requests. And so we would envision a legislative mechanism which would allow you to act in a timely way in those types of scenarios. That's kind of our preliminary concept at the moment. If you would ultimately like to move in a direction like this, there's a set of draft rules that you could adopt at a future meeting in the form of a resolution. And I'm sure there are many tweaks and suggestions that could improve this sort of first concept of an idea of how to more efficiently streamline and improve our financial oversight and legal oversight and policy oversight of items that end up going before you. So thank you for humoring me, and that concludes my report unless there are any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Haggerty?
We just had a brief discussion. I think the challenge there is going to be these emergency items that are either based upon a state response that we need something immediately, a regulatory recent bit of guidance that needs a response, and this idea of having a full-time solicitor available potentially on a red team situation where those things can be reviewed and adequately positioned for the agenda prior to the 10 o'clock deadline on Tuesday. I think, trying to formalize and understand a little bit more about that process, because that's going to change is always difficult, but it's always good. I think getting people to think ahead, plan ahead, and be more responsible about how they think about their processes and the routine things as well as the emergent things. But I think you have to build in a real strategic sort of emergency valve that is going to allow us to address those items and not miss our compliance. And I think that's going to take the participation of the solicitors.
Yep, absolutely.
Mr. Haggerty, thank you for all the time, energy, and effort you put into this, you and your staff. Jess, I know you've been a part of this as well, and so I just want to thank everyone who's had input in the planning and preparation. All the directors as well, I believe, have had input in this, in hearing about how this would be implemented. I, as one commissioner, certainly am in favor of a process that I think is just more thorough and gives us the opportunity to make sure we're vetting everything appropriately and that we're not surprised by anything. Certainly, I join Commissioner Hartwick in the reality of sometimes matters are urgent. We've had those matters come before us before where we find out on a Monday that something needs to be voted on a Wednesday, and if we don't, it's going to be a real problem. So like those moments are going to happen, but I think a process like this will hopefully put everybody in a position to be more thoughtful in how they approach the board for consideration, and hopefully those items will be minimized. But thank you and your team for all the work you've put into that. We'll move on to the solicitor's report. Mr. Benaventano.
Good morning, Commissioners. There's no
Morning.
specific matters to report on this morning. The Solicitor's Office is reviewing several pending matters, which we anticipate will be fully ready for action next week.
Any questions of Solicitor Benaventano?
I don't have a question. I just want to make a comment and thank Mr. Benaventano as well as Solicitor Owens, our two solicitors that have been working on the Techport project for us, as they promised, getting the numbers to us by last Friday, which gives us an opportunity to review them by the deadline coming up. Thank you very much.
I don't believe I have a training packet for approval, so we'll move past that. There are no matters requiring board action today. I see no former business before us. We will move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Hartwick.
This past Thursday, we wrapped up the final meeting with the healthcare RFP respondent from the respondent to the prison healthcare. We're in the process of sort of collecting the scoring rubric and ensuring that we didn't miss anything related to the notes, and hopefully we'll have those things calculated and ready to go for next week. Also had a meeting the same Thursday with a group called ClearGov, who provides some real open and transparent ways to be able to discuss, allow for public access, and for a lot better strategic planning, reporting, as well as budgeting processes. All things which I think we need to move forward in the current era with trying to take advantage of. Those tools are critical. Obviously, the interface in Oracle and the concerns with Oracle remain a top concern with me related to inflows and outflows of cash. And to do that kind of assessment is going to be required if we are going to have a clear view, not being clear gov, but a clear view of this budget picture for this year. And that work needs to start more immediately. I also had the opportunity to attend with the Board of Commissioners to fill the bus last Friday. I want to give a shout out to the Singers Lounge, who had a sold out 90s show on Sunday night. And I know we had Jazz in the Park with Najee in Reservoir Park, which are continue to provide an incredible opportunity to enjoy music, culture, and the arts in this region that have been sponsored by or part of, in some ways, supported by this board. So, we always ask, what is it that government is doing to try to work to present opportunities to the communities? I think we need to figure out ways to ensure that we are supporting the arts in a way that is reflective of a better way to be able to enjoy those things without having to go to Baltimore, New York, and other places. We've got it here right in our backyard. I know we've got music series coming up. I know we've got our culture festival that coming up that we're looking forward to. So stay tuned. There is more to come.
Commissioner Priest.
Yeah, I want to start off by following up on the presentation earlier, having an outstanding individual in here, Mr. Ivanov, and you heard why it's considered the greatest generation, individuals who sacrificed their lives many times on behalf of this great, grateful nation so that we're allowed to enjoy the freedoms that we do today. And you heard him getting emotional there as he was talking about something that he lived through that is etched in his mind forever. And again, cannot thank him enough for what he has done on behalf of this nation and the sacrifices that he and many, many others have made on our behalf. Secondly, Anthea Stebbins, the director of Parks and Rec, and her team did a wonderful job this past weekend for the annual Brewfest celebration. It was well attended. I want to also read a piece of correspondence from Anthea related to a grant that was received. This board approved a resolution for the Parks Department requesting an $18,000 peer grant from the PADCNR to review and make recommendations for natural resource management of the parks. We received the great news that the grant was awarded and for the full amount. Thank you to Parks Business Manager Christian Barber for the hard work that went into learning the issues and seeing the application through from start to finish. Christian just hit his 1-year mark at the department, is doing an absolutely excellent job. And thanks to Solicitor Guy Beneventano for vetting our ideas, reviewing our documents, and catching our mistakes before they got away from us. So I want to thank you as well, Guy, for all the work that you do behind the scenes that enables this county to run so efficiently. A lot of times our solicitors don't get mentioned, but they are truly getting things done behind the scenes that enable us to operate on a weekly basis. Secondly, George had mentioned Fill the Bus. Commissioner Douglas, Commissioner Hartwick, and I actually all were up there for the initial event. The students will be there in August, so I'm sure we're going to try to get back up there again. Special thanks to Bonnie Kent and the incredible work that she and her team do on behalf of the county week in and week out. And I know Mary Bateman was there from, I think, 9 to 1. She volunteered 4 hours of her time that day in front of Walmart. So 12 to 3. 9 to 1, 12 to 3. So, okay, 12 to 3. Thank you, Mary. And speaking of Mary Bateman, we recently had a very detailed and heartwarming presentation by the Peyton Walker Foundation right here. And one of the topics was 4-minute community AEDs. And Mrs. Walker put a call out that day, statewide, countywide, for any volunteers to step up and participate. And we saw the video that the individual's life was saved because the alarm went out and the individual was within 4 minutes away. They got to the location and saved the individual's life. Well, our very own controller, Mary Bateman, stepped up immediately and volunteered to serve in that role.
Awesome.
And Mary, can you tell us briefly about what that role is and your thoughts on it?
Sure. So basically, you have to go through a training program. I was already first aid and CPR certified because I'm a member of the hazmat team. But they give you a device, you keep it with you, you put it on the network. So I have it in my bag right now. It's on the county's network. So when I am at this job, when I am at I hold a second job, so when I'm at that job, I have it with me. I have it at home. So when I'm within a 1-mile radius and our very own people at the 911 center get a call for somebody in cardiac arrest, and they can see where my equipment is, and they, it will, as you saw on the video, it will send me a notice that says, there's a cardiac arrest, to take the machine to them. And it basically, it sends me a text message. It'll give me directions if I have to drive there or walk there, depending on how far. But yeah, so it's a very, I'm excited to be part of the program. I hope I don't have to use it, but obviously if I can save someone's life, that's unbelievably, it's just unbelievable. So yeah.
That's all I have today. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to join the commissioners in acknowledging Phil DeBus and Northern Dauphin and Bonnie Kent's leadership and her team and all the effort that they went to gather supplies for the school year, and looking forward to being back up there and handing those out. In the interest of transparency, I'd also like to note for the record that earlier this week I amended my 2024 Statement of Financial Interest form to include a disclosure of a trip I took to Knoxville in an effort to bring economic activity to the region by recruiting a CrossFit event. The trip was mistakenly not included on my form, and I've corrected that clerical error. You can reach out to my office if you'd like a copy of my amended Statement of Financial Interest. I also want to say yesterday I had the opportunity to attend the local Power Summit in Montgomery County, where I had the opportunity to connect with leaders from across the country. I was honored to be invited as a panel contributor for their panel on threats to democracy from the federal government, where the panelists spoke about the current funding impacts on local municipalities and the commitment to election integrity and access. Also, want to make the public aware that Central PA Pride is happening this Saturday. We have a 10 a.m. parade. This is the second year, I believe, they're doing the parade, and the route, I believe, this year is going to just make it even stand out much more. It's starting at City Island and then heading up 2nd Street. So I'm excited to be in the parade myself, participate, but also want to encourage everyone to get out and participate in that. And then the Pride Festival will take place from 11 to 6 in Soldiers Grove. We hope to see you there. The LGBTQIA plus committee will have a booth there for Dauphin County to kind of talk through different ways in which people can access resources in the county, whether that be a job that they might want to maybe work in the county, how to change your name, other things of that nature will be available at a booth there, and we're excited to offer that to our residents. Moving forward, we'll go on to correspondence. I see no correspondence this week. We will move on to public participation. I'm guessing we might have a list.
I saw Mr. Butt skating over here this morning.
Thank you.
I did see it.
All right, we have one member for public participation, and then I will open up to the floor. I might need some help with this name. I think it's Nessim. Is that correct? You can come on up. Just a reminder, it's 3 minutes public comment, and we are live streaming. And just start by saying your name, and then you can share.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How you doing? My name is Nassim Tawadrus. I'm living in 6041 Huntington Circle, Harrisburg, 17111. Thanks for letting me talk. Just I have a question because I don't want to waste your time. I'm from Sutara Township. You above Sutara Township, if somebody did mistake, you can judge him, or you don't have control about Sutara Township?
We work in partnership with all of our townships. If there's something, you could certainly.
There are legal issues that Swiderra Township would be responsible for. That may be different than the counties, but if you have any questions, I mean, we'd be glad to try to resolve. Even if it's something that we don't legally or not responsible for, we would be glad to provide some level of guidance and assistance to see what we can.
Thank you so much. Just I wish to give me just 5 minutes because it's a long story. Just 5 minutes. First of all, I'm sorry for my English is not perfect, but I do my best to explain to you. In 2023, I applied for fixing my house for some room, and I make 2 balcony in the house. I did the permit with Mr. Robert, and it was supervisor Sutara Township building code this time. I stay with him 6 months to try to get my permit for construction. After 6 months and a half, I went again to Mr. Robert in his office. I spoke to him. Mr. Robert, he said, I know Nassim, you get very hard time with the proof code in Mechanicsburg. I asked him question like, now Mr. Robert, like as you in this job, if I start fix my sunroom, at least sunroom, when I finish, did he give me a fine and I pay the fine and we good? And one guy, he was sitting in office, he comes threatening me. He said, I will put you in jail and I give you 1,000 fine every day. And Mr. Robert, he tell him, calm down. I take care about and see him, just sit in your office, don't involve in this investigation. and he pushed him. He was almost fight with me. And when I didn't get any solution, I went to the public meeting in Sautora Township. I have the video. If anyone wanna look it, I have the video. I get hard time with a proof code for at least 7 months and a half. I get threatened from the guy employee with the Sautora Township. He asked me to put me in jail. I went to the public meeting. I see everything, and I'm sorry, the lady she runs a public meeting. She asked Mr. Robert. I tell her everything. She asked him, the supervisor, Mr. Robert, did Nassim, he said the truth? He said, I'm sorry. Whatever he said, it's true. I make meeting with Mr. Robert and approve code. The work I did, all draw I did with building a proof code for 7 months and a half, he denied all. And I make meeting with Robert and the nail, the supervisor was a proof code in Mechanicsburg, and his engineer, his name is Scott. And he said, all you did for 7 months, we sorry, our employee, he give you hard time and wrong information. We leave it away, put it on the site. You have to hire designer. And you
Excuse
do
me,
it.
sir. Only because we have a 3-minute requirement here. Would it be possible, Jessica, who's sitting over here, she can get your contact info, and the two of us would be happy to meet with you
Okay.
and try to get some additional information and see how we can help.
Okay, can you give me 1 minute? For 1 minute, if you don't
I
mind.
will give you 1 minute, especially as we spoke at the beginning. 1 minute.
Okay, what happened with me now? When I went to township, the commercial Tom Connell,
Mhm.
I was in public township. He kicked me outside from the township. No business for you over here. Don't come back in the public township. And one cop he comes threatening me, and I ask for the video. It's all gone, all denied. Anyway, now he give me, now he tied my hand. Now I'm almost 2 years and a half with him. I can't finish my job. He asked me to hire an engineer. I hire an engineer in my pocket. The engineer, I give him report. It's paid. It's very good. After 1 day, the engineer, he called me back. Do you want me to lose my license? I tell him what happened. He said, the township doesn't like it. Anyway, I get threat and harass me with these people. And you only lost a chance for me now.
Okay.
Now more than 2 years and a half, I get threat, I get harassed me. My job is not finished. He make me hate my life. I hate my house. I put it for sale. I can't sell it now because if I sell it, I will be in trouble with the township. Only one he helped me for the old commercial. It's called Tom Taki, Mike Taki. It's
Okay.
only one. He still helping me now. He give me citation. I can't go to the township. Why you asking me for tax? If I go to the township now, I have one bill now with me now. I can't go to pay it. If I go, I go in the jail for no reason.
Yeah. So I think we understand the situation, and what we'll do is ask. I'll direct you just as our chief clerk did. Meet with Jess and afterwards and get your contact information. We'll do our best to see if there's any influence we can have over the situation. But thank you for coming today and sharing this concern with us.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
the time. I'm sorry if I take so long.
No, you're okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Amanda Arbor, Dauphin County resident. So I'm here today to talk about the DCP healthcare RFP. I know that's not on the agenda for today, but it sounds like it will be soon. And so, as a Dauphin County resident, as someone who cares deeply about the well-being of the people who are housed in Dauphin County Prison, and as someone who's been following this for over a year and a half, I just wanted to ask you all to consider. I'm sure there are many things you all are considering, and I don't get to see the RFPs that are in front of you. But some of the things that might not be in those documents that I would ask to factor into your decision would be the track record of these companies, the level of risk that the county would take on by contracting with them based on that track record. the total cost to the county if you factor in settlements and things like that. But ultimately, the quality of care, which we can't put a price on, right? I care deeply that the people who go into Dauphin County Prison come out alive and in at least the same state that they entered into. And so I'll talk a little bit about, I've done my own research on all 5 of these companies and share my thoughts and recommendations for you all to consider. So first, we know Prime Care. We know they have exhibited repeated lack of transparency and have a whole history of corruption that allowed them to have this contract for 40 years without ever competing for it and without being audited. And I read the entire audit report and I disagree with the findings because I believe we have seen many well-documented cases, both reported in the press as well as direct stories we've heard from family members and people who've been incarcerated that I believe show clear negligence and that they are complicit in deaths and poor health outcomes for people in Dauphin County Prison. And they certainly have no trust from community members left. So I would urge you to vote no on Prime Care. Next, looking at Yes Care and Armor kind of together. From my research, I see that they both have extensive lawsuits in their history. They've given out millions in settlements and each have had multiple bankruptcies. And so I think that working with either of those companies would bring a high level of risk to the county, high level of cost if you count in, everything that you would settle for. And with that track record, you would not have community trust. Then looking at WellPath, they do seem to have somewhat of a better track record, although there was a recent bankruptcy, and so I don't think we know fully how that will impact them. But we know the conflicts of interest with the president judge that we saw recently that does not engender trust in the community. And I think we have a real opportunity here to go with Medico, which does not have any ties to the community, which has a really strong track record, no judgments in 28 years, only 6 settlements. They pay their workers at 95% of the percentile, which means better retention, better quality of care. And I would urge you to go with Medico and to take these factors into consideration with your decision.
Thank you, Amanda. Anyone else for a public comment?
Good morning, Louis Butts, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Morning, Mr. Butts.
I'm glad to see everybody. We're gonna have a full complement. I'm here to ask Jen's guys for some help. Now, we try to help and steer children the right way in our community, and we try to build them to become strong Americans, strong residents. Characters like Mr. Ivanov. That's what we're trying to build. And it's hard to build strong men if we don't have some of the basic essentials that go on with our American tradition. Harrisburg is without a midget baseball team. We don't have midget baseball. Okay? Now, it's vital that we present an opportunity for children of a certain age. As adults, we are supposed to provide these essentials like baseball for children. I'm asking you to help me make one team of 13 kids within the Harrisburg city to form one team that we can play Redland, that we can play Hershey, that we can play Susquehanna Township baseball. Now, we have high risk. They're out there shooting, they're out there doing all kinds of stuff, and it's imperative. We have baseball fields that are overgrown. There's no midget baseball in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is not conducive environment to perpetuate a positive outcome. For example, Major League has signed 8 out of 10 shortstops from high school. We have to groom our children to compete in the world. We can have tryouts this whole winter. We can make an effort to put 13 children in the league with all these other areas that have baseball players. Let's work together just to get 13 kids that says Harrisburg over their chest. It could be Bears, maybe, but it's important that we find the funds and the time to get this done so we can honor our kids and have them have a pathway to progress and for success. Another thing I want you guys to help me with is the Susquehanna River and creating a middle, uh, mid mainstream middle Susquehanna river keeper, and so we can test our river and make sure that it falls within some of the contaminant ranges of healthy. And I want to work on that throughout the winter and see if we can get a baseball team together. Just one. We can do this. We can use the senator, call them little senators or something, but give them some kind of momentum to be better kids.
Thank you, Mr. Boats. One thing I will just to inform you and the public, our gaming grants are currently open. This sounds like something that would be certainly right in the lane of a gaming grant, a little league opportunity for Harrisburg. So I believe the way that process works is that you would meet with our economic development department, gather a gaming grant application. I believe you need a municipal sponsor. Obviously, the municipality in this case would be Harrisburg City, and getting their support to support you in that. And I, for one, played Little League Baseball growing up and seen the power of community that it creates and certainly the power of purpose that it creates. And so thank you for your passion on this and for bringing it to our attention, and encourage you to look through the gaming grant process and potentially go in that direction.
Will do.
And Mr. Butts, if you may, over the years, we've made significant investments in baseball.
Yes.
Through the Aaron Johnson
Right.
investment to rebuild fields behind the high school.
True.
I don't know what the current status of that is. I know this board helped to renovate the Boys and Girls Club, which was with the Cal Ripken Foundation and has a built for major league field right up at the Berry Hill Street Playhouse. And I know we also purchased the lights for that field. We've always made a demonstrated commitment towards ensuring that kids have outlets related to. If you could help find out what's currently going on with those areas that we made significant investments in, and figure out how we can sort of reinforce some of the investment that was made, and how sort of what the current status of the field and operations are, and how we may be able to help organize around that. I mean, those are areas that I know significant gaming monies have already went into.
Yeah. I'm just asking for one team.
Well, I think just to follow up what Commissioner Hartwick said, I think you referenced Redland and Hershey. They both have established Little League farm systems, so to speak, with T-ball, ponies, midgets, which is also minors and majors. And then at the end of the season, what they do is they put those 6 to 8 to 10 teams together and pick one team of 13. So I think it would be more appropriate to build a feeder system. And I'm not entirely sure that one doesn't already exist within the Harrisburg community and some of the surrounding communities where the kids from Harrisburg have an opportunity to play in the jurisdictions right around them, whether it be Lower Paxton, Susquehanna, Linglestown.
Coach Martin and Aaron Johnson coached that also.
Aaron Johnson, and then Rob Martin with the RBI team. So, I mean, there are established teams out there, but I think I'd like to be part of a larger conversation on whether there's a T-ball, pony, and midget set up as well, instead of just putting together one team of 13 when there could be hundreds of kids participating in baseball. 13 doesn't move my needle.
Well, I can build 13 kids of elite. I can make an elite 13 team, a team of 13 elite kids from Harrisburg that can represent us strongly, boldly, and can inspire all the other kids to do something. But I need a group of, whether they're Spanish, whether girls, just make sure we got a good team of nice kids that are good character and good role models for the lower generation, the lower generations.
Thank you, Mr. Butts.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Hartwick, seconded by Commissioner Priest. All in favor? Aye.